Hello, everyone. My name is John Cottrell, and welcome to Yoga for Hips and Hamstrings. And that's exactly what we're going to be working on today. This is actually one of my favorite practices to do. So focusing on hips and hamstrings. So this is a 60-minute power vinyasa flow class. So even though it is a power class, go at your own rate, take your time, modify, do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself for this practice. We will need a couple of props for this class. I would recommend a couple of blocks, at least two, maybe more if you have more, or even something like some books, like some dictionaries, something like that. We're going to be doing some work. I'll give it away. We're going to be doing standing splits. And it's nice to have the blocks stacked up just so you have your hands to put on as we get into that balancing pose. So something stackable. And then something optional is actually a yoga strap. We'll be doing some seated postures. We're going to do some hamstring stretches. And so sometimes having a yoga strap can be helpful. If you don't have a yoga strap, just use something like a jump rope or a belt, something that is long and that you can use like that. All righty. I think that is it. So let's go ahead and begin our practice. We are going to start in mountain pose. Once again, welcome. So I invite you to stand near the top of your mat with your feet about hip distance apart, your toes are pointing forward, and your arms are just down by your side. Now you're welcome to place have your palms facing forward, or just a little bit more relaxed, just down by your side, just so you feel a little looseness in the shoulders. We really just want to take this moment just to prepare for our practice, take a few deep breaths, even set a personal intention. So again, we're going to be working on hips and hamstrings today. So I like this area, especially working with the hips, because we store a lot of energy there, a lot of emotional energy that sometimes can really bind us in that space. And so we want to help open up that space. And sometimes we just really want to just get a little bit more flexibility in our hamstrings. And these do tie in together pretty well. So you're welcome to close your eyes or just soften your eyes. You might start with a few deep breaths in and out, and then just settle into easy breathing. But you may want to breathe in a way that you can feel your breath and hear your breath. So if you need to, just turn up the volume of your breath a little bit, just so it will help you to focus on this moment. Very nice. As you're tuning in, let's start to raise the energy of the breath. As you inhale, just feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs. Feel that nice expansiveness in the chest. And hold that uplifting sensation as you now exhale and draw navel inward towards your spine. You're creating the abdominal lock, which kind of creates a sensation where your breath doesn't just drop back down. So we want to keep this uplifting sensation. Breath rising, filling up the lung space, your heart space. And then we lock with the abdominal lock, drawing navel in towards spine. Also creates some nice energy, awareness, and power in the body. Excellent. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths like this. When you're ready to move, and inhale to extend your arms into the air. Treat it like a nice stretch. Reach all the way up. Then exhale, we're going to fold forward. So it's a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and just make your way down. Now you might touch your toes, but you don't have to touch your toes. At the moment, I'm just letting my hands rest at my shins. Then take another breath in to slide your hands up to your knees or thighs and extend your spine long and flat. And exhale, fold again. I'm going to go a little lower this time, maybe touching toes. If you need to bend your knees a lot more, just go ahead and do so. And go ahead and release your head and your neck and your shoulders so you really have this hanging forward sensation.
You can even circle your shoulders, just feel some loosening there, a little shake in your head, just letting go. This is also great for your back as you create this lengthening, as you fold forward, allowing gravity to draw you forward and downward. And we're getting to our hamstrings. Even with a slight bend in the knees, we're getting some nice gentle lengthening through those tight hamstrings. Let's do another halfway lift. We're going to inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs, extending your spine. This is half forward fold. Exhale, back down we go. And we're going to make our way back up to standing. So shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, let your hips drop like you're sitting down, look forward. This may allow you to take your arms out to the side, then go ahead and stand up all the way. Nice and tall, reach up into the air. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Pause here for a moment, take a breath. Let's do that same thing, same sequence. We'll just make it flow this time. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Another nice stretch. Exhale, let's fold forward. Keep a good softness in your knees. Carefully fold, maybe touching the ground. Inhale, sliding hands up to your knees or thighs, full extension of spine. Exhale, back down we go. You can even pause here for a moment to get that full release and stretch. When you're ready, shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, look forward, sweep your arms out to the side. Inhale fully, rise up all the way, nice and tall, reach into the sky. Exhale, bring your palms together and back down to your heart. Let's take 2 breaths here. Very nice. We're just going to continue with our sun salutation. Here we go. Inhale, extend your arms into the air. And exhale, let's fold forward. Always okay to keep a good softness in your knees. Make your way down carefully. Take your time. Inhale, rise up halfway. Feel the top of your head lead you forward. As you exhale, bend your knees enough so you can place your palms on your mat. Walk or step both of your feet back until you're in plank pose. We'll breathe in right here. As you exhale, bend the knees a little, then send your hips up into the air. This is our little shortcut to downward facing dog. Take a moment here, just adjust your body, adjust your hands, and adjust your feet on your mat, and then just settle in. Make sure your palms are pushing firmly into the mat so your arms feel straight and strong. And then with your feet, you might want to pedal the feet like you're walking or pedaling a bicycle. Press one heel down as the other heel lifts, and then just alternate. You get that nice stretch through your calves, especially when the heels press downward. And when the heels lift, you'll feel a stretch in your toes. But also notice where else you might have that sensation of stretching and maybe releasing. Let the knees bend. Maybe your hips will shift side to side. Do that one more time on each foot, then come back to stillness and down dog. We'll take a breath in. As you exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet back up to the top of your mat. Once you're here, inhale, rise up halfway. We'll exhale to fold. Shift weight back into your heels, bent knees. Let's inhale, come up to standing, reach high. We're going to keep this moving as you exhale. Take a chair pose, just like this. Back and down into your seat. We'll take a breath in. Exhale, dive out of the seat, back down towards toes, forward fold. We're just adding on to our sun salute. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, bend your knees, hands on your mat, walk, step, or even hop back into plank pose. We'll take a breath in. This exhale will finish the push-up. Bend your elbows to lower your body, coming down. Your inhale can be an upward facing dog or a low cobra. Then exhale onto your toes, hips into the air, downward facing dog. Settle into the posture, and we'll continue with our lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you, reach back, straight and strong. Exhale, guide right foot to the top of the mat. We'll set left heel onto the floor behind, shift weight back into that foot so it's well grounded. Hands are light, so you can inhale to rise up with ease to warrior one. We're going to exhale, fold again, bring the hands back down to the ground. Step back into plank pose. If you'd like, finish the push-up. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now you can always skip that little vinyasa. When you're in plank, you can just move right into down dog if you want. Other side, inhale, extend left leg up, reaching back. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Here we go. Warrior one, right heel turns to the ground, shift the weight back. Hands are light, so you can easily lift. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, fold again. Bring your hands back down to the ground. Step back. Here's plank pose. So here you can go right to down dog or finish that full sequence. You decide. That can be a cobra pose right here instead of up dog if you want, and then downward facing. Pause here, take a breath or two. We're going to make our way down to the ground. Go ahead and kneel down. Sit back briefly in hero. Sit off to the side. So you can swing the legs around to the front here. Scoot so you're sitting in the center of your mat. You're going to roll down onto your back. Go ahead and do that while I adjust my mat. Lie down for a moment with your knees bent and feet flat on the ground. Let everything settle here for a moment. We're going to move into bridge pose, just a mild back bend. Make sure your knees are stacked right over your ankles or heels, so your shins are straight lines up and down. That will give you good leverage. Inhale fully to fill up your lungs. Empty as you exhale. Navel draws down, and in this case towards spine to engage belly, using that sensation to lift hips up into the air. Now you can just lift and just hold here. If you've got some blocks, you can always slide your blocks underneath you, or even use your hands to help lift yourself up. Now, I haven't lifted up as far as I could potentially go. I'm going to go a little further. I'm going to make a little adjustment with my feet. I'm going to bring them in a little closer and out to the side a little bit. For me, that feels more spacious for my hips and low back. So I can lift a little higher. And then with the shoulders, I can roll to one side and get the shoulders underneath like that. Both sides. Starts to open the chest a little bit more. And maybe bending the elbows like this at 90 degrees, pressing down into the ground with the backs of the arms to lift up a little higher. Deep breaths. It's a very engaging pose throughout the entire body, but it's a nice way to open through the whole front side of the body. So again, it's a back bend that we know as bridge pose. A few more breaths here. Take two more. When you're ready to move, start by wiggling your toes forward or step forward a little bit. Then extend your arms straight up into the air. That will get the shoulders out from underneath you. And then slowly roll your way back down. Let's extend the body. Extend your legs out front. Reach your arms behind you if you have room. Reach and stretch to elongate. Okay, then bring right knee in. Catch the knee with your hand. And extend the right leg up. Now, don't worry if it's straight or not. It doesn't have to be straight. We're just starting to get a little bit more awareness of hamstring stretching. Even though the knee is bent, this is fine, just like this. So maybe with an activated foot, you can flex the foot by feeling like your heel is reaching for the ceiling, or you can press through the balls of the foot or point your toes. So something just very active, okay? And just holding on to the leg. Now you could use your strap, but we're not going to be here too long. One more breath in and out. Go ahead and bend the knee, bring the foot back down, re-extend the leg, and we'll do the other side. So let's bring the left knee in, give it a quick hug, and then extend the leg. Again, not worrying if it's straight or not, and just hold on to the leg. I'm just kind of clasping my fingers around the hamstring and just keeping the leg up into the air. Again, just point through the toes, push through the balls of the foot, or flex the foot and push through the heel. I like pushing through the heel because I just feel that's a little bit more active. I'll feel that more in the hamstring. Couple more breaths here. Again, we're just introducing sensation of lengthening for the hamstrings when we get into some other postures. All right, let's go ahead and bend the knee. Hug the knee in. Let's bring the other knee in. Gently rock forward and back, giving yourself enough momentum. With a good exhale, go ahead and rock your way up to seated. And we're just going to come to boat pose. Now you can start boat like this. This is how I like to start boat, is with knees bent, feet flexed, heels on the ground. Hold on to the legs here. I call these handlebars, just underneath the knees, and use that as a way to lift yourself up. So you're sitting up nice and tall. You can see the straightness of my spine. That's your inhale, get breath filling up the lungs. Exhaling, pull belly in, but then lean back a little bit. So you start to form kind of this V shape in the body like this. Now you can stay just like this. This is very effective for core strength and energy. Now you could step the heels in a little closer to yourself, lean back a little bit more, and eventually there's less weight in the feet, and so they can just float into the air like that. You can hold on to the legs to maintain that lengthening through the spine, or keep a stronger core engagement, release the legs like this. So here's another version of boat. So many variations, which I really like. Okay, we're gonna float, we're gonna breathe in. As you exhale, cross legs. If you're able, roll forward, catch yourself with your hands, step back, plank pose. Feel that re-extension of the body. Bend your knees here. We'll take our shortcut to downward facing dog. Okay, let's continue our lunge sequence. Inhale, extend right leg up. Let's do a hip opener here. Bend your knee, bring your heel down towards backside, lifting knee up into the air, which creates a little bit of a twist in the spine, and it opens the hips. We're going to exhale to unwind it. Step right foot up to the top of the mat, left heel to the ground behind, shift weight back a bit. Inhale, rise up, warrior one, and your exhale here to warrior two. Maybe a little bit more space between the feet. I'm just taking the feet a little wider, lunging a little deeper. Now we're getting into the hips. Good extension out through the arms in our warrior two. Let's hold here for a few more breaths. Very common pose, but very effective for opening up hips. To help that, we want to be sure your right knee and your right toes pointing directly forward. Just check in to see if that knee is dipping to the inside. If it is, just guide it to the right side so your knee and toes are pointing directly forward. Okay, let's take side angle pose. Reach out over the right leg, angled upper body, rotate the arms. Take this arm and just brace it on the inner right leg. Give it a gentle push. At the same time, take this left arm and open up. Feel like you're reaching back behind you. This really opens up through the torso and the hips. I like this sensation a lot. So actually, this is one of my favorite poses. Breathe in. We're going to exhale to turn towards the ground, carefully fold. Bring your hands back down to the mat and just step back all the way into downward facing dog like this. Other side when you're ready. Inhale, extend left leg up. Let's open the hip by bending the knee. Lift the knee with a bit of a twist, hip opener. As we exhale, we'll unwind, step through, left foot to the top of the mat, right heel to the ground behind you. Plant that heel, rise up, warrior one. And our exhale to warrior two. Take a moment to make some adjustments. Wide stance if you'd like. Nice lunge in front. Being aware of the knee and toes pointing forward. Let's extend out those arms. Really reach. Holding for several breaths just to get into this hip opener. Then into our side angle. So reach out over the left leg. Angled upper body, rotate the arm. Now the left arm braces against the leg. Give it a little push. At the same time, right arm extends up into the air. Feel like you're reaching for something behind you, and that really expands and opens up through the body. Hopefully you feel that. Let's take a breath in, and we'll exhale to turn. Let's bring the hands back down to the ground. Step back into downward facing dog. Hold for a moment. With your next exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Once you're there, inhale, just lift up halfway or extend your spine. Exhale, fold. Let's hold here for a few more seconds so we can get some more of that lengthening through the hamstring. Shift weight back into the heels, bend your knees, look forward, arms out to the side. Inhale, let's stand up tall. Good, reach up high. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Take a breath or two. Good, go ahead and relax your arms down by your side. All right, now we're gonna go into two balancing poses. The first pose is tree pose, a very common pose, and it's a nice hip opener as well as balancing. And then we'll do both sides, and then we're gonna do another balancing pose, which will get a little bit more into the hips.
Let's do tree pose first. And I'm going to mirror you. You're going to shift your weight over to your right foot. So really press strongly down into the floor with your right foot. Stand up nice and tall, lengthen spine, breath rising, fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. Then we'll float the left foot up. Flex the foot as you're lifting it. Okay, so it's active throughout the whole leg. Then you're going to swing that knee out to the side. This is the hip opener right here. And then place foot on the inside of your standing leg right there. So this is tree pose, or the beginning of it. And it's balancing, of course, and a hip opener. When you're ready, and inhale, go ahead and extend your arms up into the air with a good reach. There we go. Nice extension. Left knee pointing out to the side to help open up through the hips. If you're able, if you have the sensation, feel like your hips or pelvis or belt buckle, if you were wearing a belt, was pushing forward a little bit. Let's keep the arms extended. Swing the left knee forward. Lift your knee with the flexed foot. Hold there for a second. Now plant the foot. Let's bring the arms back down by your side. Feel free to shake all that out. You can just shake out your shoulders, your hips, your knees, even your feet. And we're going to do the other side. Whenever you're ready, just start shifting weight over into your left foot now. Press down into the ground. Feel that energy in the leg. Feel the length through the spine. Feel tall as you breathe in. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. We'll float the right foot up. Flex the foot to keep the leg strong. Swing the knee out to the side. There's our hip opener. Placing the foot gently on the inside of your standing leg. Whenever you're ready, and inhale, extend your arms up into the sky. Big stretch. Touch the ceiling. Getting nice and long through the sides of your body. And what happens is, as the torso lifts, it makes more space in the belt line here in the pelvis, which may allow you to open up the hip a bit more. So that knee will point more to the side. Push pelvis forward a little bit just to activate that a bit more. Let's keep the arms extended. Swing right knee forward. Lift knee with the flexed foot, which will pause for a second. Then bring the foot back down. Hands down by your side. Shake it all out. Don't forget the feet there too. All right, now we're going to do a very similar balance, okay? But we're going to get more into the hips. We're going to start with the arms. Follow me. We're going to inhale, take the arms out and up, reach for the ceiling. As you exhale, bring the arms down, but bring your hands to your hips, just like this. This is just an awareness of the alignment of your hips, because this will help with this pose that's coming up, and actually some other poses that are coming up a little bit later. So we want this hip alignment. Now start shifting your weight into your right foot, press into the ground, feel tall, roll your shoulders back. If you're able, squeeze your shoulder blades together a little bit behind you, then float the left foot up. Flex the foot, just like this, okay? Now imagine you've got a soccer ball, you're gonna kick the soccer ball like that. But before we do that, we need to bend the right knee just a little bit. Let me turn this way. Can you see this? So my foot's lifted, I'm bending the knee a little, and do my little soccer kick, and then cross that ankle over thigh like that, okay? So you've bent the knee, crossed the leg, you just made a little shelf. Now with the leg crossed, what can happen is this leg gets heavy and it might drop this hip, and this puts us out of alignment and I fall out of the pose. So we want something like this. So the hips are still aligned. Now, if you can, maybe sit back and down a little bit like this. Okay, just a little bit. Hips are still aligned, spine is straight, but hips shifted back and your heart came forward and your torso is at an angle. If you're able, take the arms out and up into the air, just like this. So we're basically in chair pose. I just call this cross-legged chair pose. You might feel this in the outer hip and maybe the glute. If you want more sensation, just sit deeper into it. It's okay if you lose your balance, because this is still a balancing pose. And we're going to stand up, uncross the leg, lift the knee with the flexed foot, bring the foot back down, arms down by your side. Shake it out, roll those shoulders, and walk out the feet. Okay, so I just call that cross-legged chair pose, and it should get into the hips. We want those hips to remain aligned. Let's do the other side. We start with the arms. We'll inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, bring hands to your hips, aligned hips. Roll the shoulders back. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Start shifting weight into the left foot, root down. Bend, let's float the right foot up into the air, just like this. Bend the left knee, kick the soccer ball, cross ankle over thigh, and then start to sit a little deeper. Let me just turn this way. So we have an angled upper body. Hips feel like they're moving towards the back edge of your mat. Hips are aligned because your hands are there, so that's your indicator. Then take the arms out and up into the air. Now you can stay up high like I am at the moment, but I'm going to go a little deeper. All I'm doing is sitting down a little bit more. That way I really feel that more in the hips or that outer hip and in the glute right through the space. Focus on something out in front of you. That will help with balance. And I will also suggest flex the right foot. Flex it. That will just help to stabilize that crossed leg. Now we're going to stand up, uncross the leg, lift the knee with a flexed foot, plant the foot into the ground, bring your arms down by your side, shake it all out. There we are. Okay. All right, now we will be doing that again in our practice, but let's move on. Let's stand near the top of the mat, ready to flow. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, let swan dive forward. Inhale, monkey pose. That's our spinal extension. Exhale, hands to the ground, hopper step back, plank pose. We're just going to flow through this. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's keep it moving. Inhale, extend right leg up. Bend the knee, lift the knee for a little twist and hip opener. Exhale, unwind it, step through, right foot to the top of the mat, left heel to the ground, shift the weight back so the hands are light, so you can easily rise up, warrior one, and exhale into the warrior two. Now from here, we're gonna take this to triangle pose. So we're gonna straighten this front leg, straight as can be. Then start reaching out over the right leg, angled upper body. You wanna feel like your left hip feels like it's moving to the left side of the room. And then rotate the arm. So this is triangle. It's another nice hamstring stretch. Also works through the hips and torso, but you probably will feel this more in the hamstring. Now you don't have to go all the way down. I really never always go down all the way to the ground with this hand. And this is where stacked blocks could come in handy if you are a little lower, but not all the way at the ground. But I usually just kind of brace my hand or rest my hand near my knee or thigh. Now to come out of this pose, bend the right knee, come back up to a warrior two and reverse the warrior. Take the right arm just up and just reach up into the air. We're gonna do another hamstring stretch here. Keep reaching, maybe a little reaching behind you, re-extend the right leg. Keep extending, you're gonna get a nice lengthening through the right side of your body in addition to the right leg straightening. Coming out, we're gonna bend that right knee again. You can do a little cartwheel or a windmill. Bring this left hand up and over. Turn, bring hands down to the ground. Step back, plank pose, finishing the sequence. Up dog or cobra right there. Exhale, downward facing. Let's get ready for the other side. Inhale, extend left leg up, bend and twist. Exhale, unwind, step through. Warrior one, right heel plants into the ground. Hands are light so you can easily float up, warrior one. And our exhale to warrior two. Settle into the pose. And then we'll set up for triangle. So we're straightening the left leg. Reach out over that left thigh. Reach, rotate arms. Go as low as you want or stay up as high as you need. Nice opening here, reach. Feels really good. Deep breaths. To come out of the pose, we'll start by bending the left knee so we have some leverage to come back up, pass through the warrior two to reverse the warrior, taking the left hand up into the air, reach, keep extending, then re-extend the left leg. Notice that change through the side of the body. Bend the left knee again, create that big windmill, rotate, bring the hands down to the ground. Let's step back into plank pose and we'll finish the series. Flowing through as you'd like, meeting together in down dog.
Let's go back down to the ground. You can just bring the knees down, sit down, or hop forward, cross legs, take a seat right here. Okay, here's our seated forward fold that we're going to do. So here you're welcome to use a strap, okay? You don't have to. If you don't have one, that's okay. But it can come in handy. I might use that. Well, let's start in staff pose. So staff, we just want to sit up nice and tall, flex your feet so your heels are pushing forward. Hands on the ground by your hips, push into the ground to help you sit up tall. If your shoulders are pulling forward like this, roll the shoulders back and try to squeeze them together to engage your upper back, because we engage here and here, belly, which gives us some great support. So nice and tall, make sure your neck is long, looking directly forward. So this is staff pose. Take a couple breaths. Very active body. Then we're going to go for a seated forward fold. I'm going to go ahead and use this strap. So I've just released my hands, grab the strap, get the strap around the bottom of the feet. And then just holding onto the strap with that same idea of sitting up tall. If you tug on the strap a bit, you can sit up nice and tall. Roll the shoulders back. If you're not using a strap, you can just have your hands maybe just resting on your legs, or even extend your arms up into the air and then take your fold. I'm still going to use the strap here. So I'm going to inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, pull belly in. A little tug of the strap to pull gently myself forward. Still maintaining a lengthened spine. I'm leading with my heart and chin, like I'm going to go out past my feet. That's the intention there, the idea. And I'm just not just rolling over like this. I'm sitting up tall, sending my heart forward. And even just here, I really feel this significantly in the hamstrings. You don't have to go down too low for this. If you want to go lower, I'm just going to release the strap for this part. Maybe your hands are resting on your shins. Maybe you can touch your toes, something like that. And maybe go ahead and let the back round at this point. Your head can drop. Now, you don't have to keep the legs absolutely straight. If you need to bend them a little bit like this to go a little deeper, please do so. Let's take a few more breaths. Now, if you happen to be in this position like I am, I'm able to reach my feet. My back is rounded, chin is lowered, my knees are bent, and I can breathe deeply, and I can breathe into my back body, which kind of expands the back. It kind of stretches the back while I'm in this forward fold and still getting this nice stretch in the hamstrings. A couple more breaths here. All right, we're ready to come out. If you're in the position where I am, just lift your head, look forward. Let's take the arms forward, or just release your strap and reach forward. Then inhale, hinge your way up, reaching into the sky and get as tall as can be. Exhale, bring the arms down by your side. I'm just going to move the strap out of the way. We're done with that. Let's come to cobbler's pose or bound angle. Basically, I'm just going to lean back a little bit so I can just bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet together like this. I'm going to turn towards you for this. Okay. This is a great hip opener. Now you can hold on to your toes, your feet, your ankles, or your shins. Doesn't really matter where, but you want to be able to sit up nice and tall. Long torso. Legs are just kind of bent and heavy out to the side. Now you could provide support and maybe place a block or a pillow or something on either side there if you want to. You can stay just like this for a very efficient hip opener, or inhale for some length, exhale, hinge forward, just like that seated forward fold when the legs were extended, but just do it here now. Same thing, we want to keep the spine long, lead with the chest and chin out past the front edge of your mat. Do that for a few breaths. You can keep the spine straight, not needing to go down too deeply, or if you want, maybe allowing everything to round out a little bit, lowering the head, breathing deeply. Great hip opener. And just as we said earlier, And we can store a lot of energy or tension or just emotional energy in our hips. And with the focus on our hips, we can just kind of restore some spaciousness. All right, let's go ahead and lift the head, look forward, hinge your way back up until you're nice and tall. Start to lean back so you can bend or bring the knees together, lift your feet into the air. And this is our return to downward face. I'm sorry, to boat pose. Getting ahead of myself. So boat pose. Holding on or releasing. And let's flow. Breathing in first, and we'll exhale, cross legs. If you can, roll forward. Catch yourself in your hands. Hop or step back, plank pose. Nice straight line. Let's go ahead and bend the knees. Lift hips into the air, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Exhale, bend knees, hop, step, or walk. Both feet to the top of the mat. Extend spine. Exhale, fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Let's inhale, reverse the swan dive. Come all the way up to standing, reach up high. Exhale, arms down by your side. Excellent. All right. We have another pose we need to work on. I need to adjust my mat. While I'm down here, maybe you'll come down here as well. We're just getting the blocks. We're going to come back up to standing, but just get your blocks and place them up near the top of your mat so they're ready to go. Because we're going to be moving into our standing splits. So you want to have that stack of blocks right there. And then join me again in mountain pose. Right here. Here we go. We're going to inhale, extend the arms into the sky. Exhale at swan dive. Inhale, monkey pose. That's that flat back tabletop position. Look at your blocks. As you exhale, fold, and just let your hands come out to the blocks. Just bring them in or step in closer so you can just kind of really lean into your stack of blocks. I've got them slightly over to my right side. So I'm going to put weight into my right foot. My knees are soft. Keep your knees bent here. I'm pushing my hands into the blocks. I'm engaging my core. So with an exhale, I'm pulling belly button up towards spine to get more of a roundedness in the back. This should allow me to lift the left foot off the ground and extend it straight back towards the wall behind. Now this is our starting point. We're going to see if we can take that left leg up a little higher. What you could do is actually, if you've got stacked blocks, turn one of them up a little higher like this. And get a little bit more extension through both legs. There's still a slight bend of my right knee, but it's straighter. Left leg way out back. I'm getting a little bit more space in the pelvis. Now I'm just kind of up with my fingertips on the blocks here. As I extend through spine and that left leg, I'm making some more space. That's an inhale. An exhale, tip the scale, meaning my head goes down a little lower as my left leg goes up a little higher. Now the hands can stay on the block or down to the ground like this. And we'll just consider this our modified standing splits. Good extension. Don't worry too much about how high this left leg is. Then we're going to bend the left knee, bring it in towards your chin so let the back round. Set the foot down next to the other. Hands can come back up onto the blocks, re-extend spine for monkey. Exhale, fold. Okay, we're just going to go right on to the other side. I'm putting the blocks over to my left side a little bit, relying heavily on the blocks. I'm just leaning into them. This helps with the balance. Shifting weight into the left foot now. Keep the knees soft. Exhale and round your spine. Pull belly button up towards spine to create that sense of stability. Then lift the right foot. Extend the right leg straight back. This is the initial part of this balance. We need more space. So maybe if you can, rise up to fingertips on your blocks or turn your blocks up a little higher. Maybe something like this. To get more length through the spine and the right leg and left leg, actually. We're going to inhale here, more reach. Exhale, tip the scale. Your heart and head come down. Right leg goes up a little higher. Fingertips can come to the ground or remain on the blocks. So this is our standing splits. And it's modified because we're doing something a little different. With an exhale, bend the right knee, bring the knee in towards your chin so your back will round. Place the foot back down onto the ground, balanced on 2 feet. Let's come back up to monkey pose. Use your blocks if you'd like. Exhale, fold again. Let's come back up to standing. I'm going to move my blocks to the side for a second. Weight shifts back into the heels. Bend your knees. Come all the way up to standing. Let's get tall again. Reach up. Exhale, arms down by your side. Very nice. Now that's a pretty challenging pose, and we're going to be doing even something more challenging to get into that posture. You'll see it a little bit later, but let's do another pose. We're going to do pigeon pose. So let's start in mountain. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale at swan dive. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, plant the hands, walk, step, or hop back, plank. Come right down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's inhale, take right leg up into the air, bend and twist. We're going to pigeon here. Exhale, we're unwinding. Bring right knee down to the ground, behind the right wrist with an angled right leg. Choose the angle that fits best for your joints. The left knee will come down behind the foot so you can start to crawl back. Shifting the weight back into the hips, taking some of the weight off of the hands. Then we'll inhale just to get some more length in the spine. Exhale, crawl forward. Take your time with this. You might come down to your elbows and pause here. You might even come all the way down to your head on the ground. Or if those blocks are still handy, maybe just rest your forehead on a block, something like this. Let's hold here for a little bit. Some nice deep breaths. Pigeon pose is a wonderful posture for hip opening. So on the right side, we're getting right inner thigh. Reading the outside of that leg, the outer hip and glute. The left leg, because of its extension, we're getting a hip flexor stretch. That's kind of more in the front side of the leg. Let's go ahead and just take 2 more breaths here. If you made it down low, perhaps down to your elbows, take your time and just rise back up onto your hands. So you're something like this. Sit off to the right side. Just sit. So you can bring this left leg around. We're coming back to cobbler's pose. Just situate yourself on your mat. Bring the feet together like this. Grab hold of your ankles or shins. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe fold a little bit if you'd like. Just something like that. Not too long. We're going to re-extend or lift ourselves back up. Lean back. We're going back into boat. So bring the knees together, lift the feet, let them float. There's our boat pose. Breathe in. We're still flowing. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front, perhaps. Hop or step back, plank pose. Complete the series. Meet together in downward facing dog. We're going to do pigeon on the other side. Here we go. Inhale, extend left leg up. Bend your knee. Lift your knee, little hip opener. Exhale, unwind to bring left knee to the ground behind left wrist with an angled left leg. The right knee can come down to the mat. Use your knee and toes to crawl it back, to shift your weight back, settling into the hips. Go as deeply as you'd like. Modify if you need to. If you're up high, it's something like this. If you can see me, my hip is not even close to the ground. Maybe use one of your books or blocks or pillows and just tuck it underneath there. It just gives you a little hip lift. And remember what we did earlier, that cross-legged chair pose, and our hands were on our hips. We want hip alignment. Also in this pose, we want hip alignment. We don't want to be sitting off to the side. All right, so that's why that block can come in handy, so your hips are still aligned in this posture. Inhale for extended spine. Exhale, crawl forward. Maybe come down to elbows, maybe your forehead, or use a block. And we'll hold here so we can get those great stretches. Just tune into your breathing, allowing the work to happen naturally. Let's take 3 more breaths. After your 3rd breath, we'll start to rise. Let's move our blocks. Let's keep those blocks handy, maybe near the top of the mat, because we're going to need them again getting ready for our full sequence. Let's come back up onto the hands. We're still in our pigeon pose. Sit off to the left side now. Let's swing the right leg around to the front. Come back to cobbler's pose. Adjust yourself on your mat. Sitting up nice and tall. Hinge forward a little bit if you want. Just for a little extra stretch there. Rise up, lean back, boat pose. Knees come together, lift feet. There's our boat. Let's breathe in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose. Let's just go ahead and take a shortcut to down dog. Bend the knees, hips into the sky. Nice re-extension of the spine. As we exhale, walk, step, or hop, both feet back up to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Feel that nice hamstring stretch. Maybe they're getting a little bit more lengthened now. Weights in the heels, soft knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come all the way up, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's pause here. Take a breath or two. Maybe arms down by your side. All righty, now we're ready to put all of that together in a sequence. It's going to start with the cross-legged chair pose. We're just going to do this together. I'll just walk you through it. Just follow me, do your very best. Be sure you've got your blocks near the top of the mat and they're ready to go. All right, so we're back in mountain pose. Do your best. Here we go. We're going to start with our inhale. Take arms up into the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Remember that? Hands to hips. Start shifting your weight into your right foot. Roll shoulders back, squeeze shoulder blades together, pull belly in. Let's lift the left foot, bend the knee. Like that. Bend the right knee. Kick the soccer ball. Cross left over right. So we've got our cross-legged chair pose. Hands on hips, maintaining that nice hip alignment. We're sitting back and down a little bit. Here's our chair-like position. Let's sweep the arms into the air. Just like this. If you want, sit deeper to get more of that stretch in the outer hip and glute. Now here's the challenge. We're going to stand up, reach up, uncross the leg, lift the knee, flexed foot. Bring your hands to your hips again. Bend the right knee. See how I'm going up and down a little bit? Bend the knee. I'm going to start to tip. My head and heart are going forward and down as my left leg is extending back. I'm looking right down at the ground. Release the hips. Catch the blocks or the fingertips on the ground. Once you've caught the ground for support, extend through left leg, right leg, and torso. And then tip the scale. So that's our standing splits. Use those blocks if you need to. From here, bend the right knee. That's the leg you're standing on. Start bringing the left foot down behind you. So we're going to end up in a lunge like this. We're going to be in a high lunge. Land on your tiptoes back there. Shift your weight back a little bit so we can easily rise into our high lunge. Right there. Inhale. Exhale, open. Warrior 2. Right there. Reverse your warrior. Reaching right hand into the air. Extend the right leg. Remember this? Nice stretch and reach. We're going to come up and over. Keep the right leg straight, but go right into triangle now. Right hand down, left hand up. We're going to bend the right knee. So we're just kind of sliding down into a side angle pose like that. Breathe in. Exhale, turn. Bring the hands to the floor. Step back into down dog, but sweep the right leg back and up into the air. Bend and twist. Hip opener there. Pigeon. Unwind. Bring the right knee down to the ground behind the right wrist. Left knee comes down. Crawl it back as much as you want. Hip alignment. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhale, crawl forward, but we're not going to be here too long. Just maybe 3 breaths. Let's say that. 3 breaths. Deep breaths. From here, come back up onto the hands. Sit off to the right side. So we can bring this left leg around to the front, resituate the body here. So you're in cobbler's pose. Sit up, fold if you'd like, just a quick hinge. Come back up, straight spine, lean back, knees together, lift feet, boat. Inhale. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose, come down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hop, step, or walk, both feet back up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet. Inhale, extend spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse the swan dive. Come all the way up, reach up into the sky. We're going immediately to the other side. So exhale, bring your hands to your hips. We're starting with that cross-legged chair pose. Shifting weight into your left foot. Roll shoulders back, squeeze shoulder blades together. Pull belly in, ready for balance. Float right foot up. Bend the left knee a little bit to create a shelf. Kick the soccer ball, cross right over left. Sit down a little deeper. Here's our angled upper body, straight spine, hip alignment. Take the arms out and up. Sit deeper if you'd like. Get into the hips. Flex the right foot. That might help with balance. Okay, we're going to stand back up. Here's this challenging transition. Uncross the leg, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Bring hands to hips again. Okay, bend the left knee. Start to hinge. Heart and head come forward and down. Right leg starts to kick back. Look at the ground or your blocks. Release the hips, catch the ground with the hands or your blocks. Once you've got it, extend through the spine, left leg and right leg. Tip the scale deeper for your standing splits. Really reach through that back right foot. We're bending the left knee so we can set the right set of toes onto the mat down behind you. Shift the weight back a little bit so we can float the arms up into the air. We'll be in a high lunge. Inhale and exhale. Let's open up to warrior two. Set up for triangle, extend the left leg. Actually, reversing the warrior. Reverse your warrior first, then reach, then extend the left leg. That's what we want right there. And we're coming back up with the torso. Keep the left leg straight, then we'll tip over into triangle. Feel all these great extensions in the body. We're coming out of the pose. We're just going to slide. Actually, bend the left knee so we can lunge a little bit more. We slide a little bit into our side angle pose. Then we breathe in again. Exhale, turn, hands down to the ground. Step back into down dogs. Slide the left foot back and up into the air. Down dog. Bend and twist, hip opener. Pigeon. Exhale, unwind. Left knee to the ground behind left wrist, angled leg. Right knee comes down, crawl it back. Hips are aligned. Lengthen spine. Crawl forward and down. 3 deep breaths. Very nice. After this third breath, we're rising back up. Sit off to the left side now. So we can bring the right leg around. Back to our cobbler's pose. Nice and tall. And hinge. Let's hold here a little bit longer. 3 breaths. We're going to rise back up. Nice and tall, leaning back, but just extend the legs, not boat pose. Just extend the legs here. Let's come back to staff for a second. Hands on the ground behind you, by your hips. Push into the ground, lengthen spine, shoulders roll back. Straight legs, just hold there for a moment. Then relax. Just scoot yourself so you're sitting in the center of your mat. And then just lie down. Once you're down, just bring the knees into chest. Let's do 2 more poses here. Let's do happy baby pose. 1 more hip opener. Happy baby pose, or any other hip opener that you like
in this reclining posture. You can be reclining cobbler's pose if you'd like. Just a few breaths here. I could do a little rocking left and right just to get a little bit more into the hips and the hip sockets there. And then release the feet, hug the knees into chest again. Let's take a twist. We're going to take the knees over to the left side, extend right arm out to the right side. A couple breaths here. You can bring knees back up to center when you're ready. Maybe just a quick pause so everything comes back to alignment, and then knees down to the other side as you extend left arm to the left side. A little spinal twist here. And as we're making our way towards Shavasana, just really think about this practice. So a very dynamic flow, getting into our hips and hamstrings, maybe creating some release. All right, let's come back up to center. Another quick hug. And then guide your way into Shavasana. Extending your legs out in front onto the ground, arms down by your side, and just lying here comfortably. We'll take a few minutes here. Just remain in a comfortable position. Nice, slow, steady breaths. Awareness of the ease in your entire body. Hopefully you were able to release some tension. I'm going to continue with some movement, making our way back up to seated to end the practice. But you're very welcome just to stay right here in Shavasana if you'd like to. So whenever you're ready to move, you might take 5 slow, deep breaths. As you're breathing in and out, allowing movement to return to your body. After your 5th breath, moving as slowly as you can, start to roll onto either side of your body. You'll end up in this nurturing pose. Remember, if you're still in Shavasana and would like to stay there longer, please do so. Or you might even roll onto your side and stay here for a little longer. And then when it's time, just continue to move slowly and just rise up to seated. You might sit comfortably, maybe on a blanket or a block, crossing the legs and sitting up as tall as you'd like. Let your arms just relax down by your side. Maybe your hands are resting in your lap. Nice long spine and long neck. And together we can inhale, extend your arms into the air, a nice big reach. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Just take one more breath in and out. And now that we've come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow saying, Namaste.